Hi, I'm Karin.
And I'm Elise.
Welcome back to Poodle People,
where we talk about all things poodles.
Today's guest is Corey Benedict. Corey is an area manager with Nestle Purina PetCare, and he is in the Enthusiast Group North America.
Hi, Corey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good. Busy kennel day. You know how that goes.
Yeah, so tell me what you're doing right now. Are you showing a dog or are you working for Purina at a show?
I always do both. I work for Purina full time and show on my days off. So pretty much my life is spent at dog shows, which I love. It's my hobby. So I'm a very fortunate person. I'm a very fortunate person. I get to do what I love for a living, and you know it's a wonderful position to be in.
Yeah, it is. That's really fabulous. So let's start by talking a little bit about Purina and your job at Purina, and then we'll talk a little bit more personally. But I think it'll set things up if you can tell us what you do and how Purina supports the dog fancy.
Sure, I sure can. So, well, I've been with the company for 14 years, and I'm with a group called the Breeder Enthusiast Group, excuse me. And it's a small group of people who are breeders who go to dog shows, promote Purina, and, we sponsor dog shows all over the country. And Purina, really is the biggest enthusiast behind this, the sport of purebred dogs than any other dog food company. Which is, what we do for the community and how much we care about the community. The dog show family, is close to our heart. I spend a lot of time with people at the dog shows, as everybody does, and they become part of your family. And so basically what I do is promote Purina and sponsor dog shows in the Southeast. And then occasionally I'll go to California or wherever I'm needed. But yeah, we get the opportunity to go to nationals and sponsor nationals, answer questions about nutrition, and educate the people about the newest things coming out from Purina, because Purina Pro Plan is forever expanding, and evolution of great new products that are just unbelievable. The science and the research behind Purina product is uncomparable to any other dog food company. Over 85 years of experience, and over 500 nutritionists and veterinarians on staff, doing nothing but, testing and, doing it for the animals that we love.
So how many products does Purina have roughly? Can you take a wild guess?
Because I really can't. Don't quote me. But I work for Purina Pro Plan, and I know Purina Pro Plan has over 46 different formulas.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, and there's some that are more popular than others, but there's a variety, and we try to make a different formula for every kind of dog.
Is there one that's like a clear most popular for breeders?
Probably our performance line, our 30-20 performance, because it's higher in fat and protein. And show dogs that are on the road, they need that extra protein and that fat, because they're working. Showing dogs, they're out every weekend. They're running around that ring, burning off calories. So the majority of the show dogs in the United States, I'd say, would feed our performance line, which comes, in salmon and beef. And it's a big seller. And then, as well as our sensitive skin and stomach, which is a formula that has the salmon version. We have a turkey and a lamb. Now the salmon, there's absolutely no chicken in it at all. So a dog that might have chicken allergies, the sensitive skin and stomach salmon is a perfect formula for.
One of my poodles, my first dog, was on salmon, the Purina salmon. And he did very well on it. So I'm very familiar with that one.
Yeah, it's a big seller, and it's really amazing. It's amazing food. I don't know a dog that doesn't do well on it. It's a very good maintenance formula.
Yeah. So I think it's fascinating. You're not a veterinarian, and yet you still have this great role within Purina. So can you tell us a little bit about what your day is like and how many shows you go to, and just give us a little bit of a feel, because it sounds like you're on the road quite a bit.
It varies. It varies. I do a lot of PR work as well with the Breeder Enthusiast for the Breeder Enthusiast Group. So it just depends. I do about 23 to 25 shows a year, depending on what we're sponsoring, different nationals. So there's the 5-day shows, and then there's the 2-day weekend shows. So it just
Right.
depends. You know, um, we're kind of everywhere, and of course always looking for new opportunities and new shows, and we know how much work goes into doing an all breed show, and we really build a rapport with the show chair, and the people who are working so hard to make the all breed show happen, and we like to just support them as much as we can, and that's kind of a neat part about the job as well.
Yeah, and I bet you see, I mean, I have not been in the show world for long, although I've had poodles for 20 years, but I've only been showing for a couple of years. And to me, it's just like the horse world. It's really small and a close-knit community. And I love that about it. I'm sure you see the same people regularly.
It's a big world in the dog show world, because just when you think you know everybody, someone comes up and they say, and you go, who is that? And then everyone goes, you don't know him? He's been showing dogs for 25 years, and he won this and this and this. And,
and
and he's from the West Coast. And, I don't make it to the West Coast a lot. It's yeah. So, there is that. I mean, you think it's a small world, but it's really kind of a big world, because it all depends on how much people dabble in it. And, if they're weekend warriors that kind of stay in their local area, or to people that, are trying to special a dog and are everywhere. So yeah, it's you do get to see kind of the regulars in different locations, especially people, like I said, that are, they live locally and they're on that board, the kennel board, but yeah, so it just depends, and then of course in nationals you see the same people pretty much every year at the nationals.
Right. And you do have people who are entering, dog showing. Like it is relatively new. I think I've only been showing for 3 years. So I'll tell you a little story about my experience with Purina. My first show with my male standard poodle, we won bred by and got our first point. And I have to admit, I love my Purina gifts. I know that sounds a little bit corny, but I really appreciate. I have the lunchbox, and I have the foldable water bag, collapsible water thing. And I love that you have really nice, high quality gifts for the breeders.
You know what? I will share that with my boss, because it's always a challenge, to come up with quality products. And first of all, they have to go through the third party vendors have to go through a huge back check. Then you love, but we can't find someone who's approved that the company can work with to make that product. So, they have to go through testing, safety, which is a good thing. But that is, we're constantly looking for new things, and I'll share that, because that's a huge part of our job, is providing prizes for the different classes every day. One day we'll do best of breed, one day the next day we'll do puppies, 6 and 9, 9 to 12, and then bred by. I mean, we're just trying to reach out to every every class we can at every show.
Last year I got a calendar, I think at Louisville.
Oh, you got a calendar.
Yeah, and it's so handy, because I write down all of my grooming notes, who I groomed, whose nails I did, all of that stuff. And it really helps. Who went to the vet when. It is one of those useful things that I didn't really know I needed on the wall, but apparently I did.
Well, that is a John McCarthy calendar, and he's an amazing artist. And my boss, my retired boss, and Vicklin, came up with the idea for those many years ago, and the calendars are a huge hit. People stand in line to get those calendars, and they become quite the collector's items.
Yeah.
And yeah, I always get such a kick. He's a genius when it comes to the different themes he comes up with for his different the different months in his calendars. He's an amazing artist.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. So, do you have a favorite show?
I love them all. Some are different. And my favorite show, no, probably the one that's closest to my heart because it's only 45 minutes from my house. Is the I gotta be honest. I go back and forth. It's close. It's like a local show for me. Is the 2-week Brooksville shows in Brooksville, Florida. Yeah, because it's a nice long show, and it's the winter time, and in Florida when we get a little cold air, it's great to show dogs in that cold air.
That's lovely. I have to admit the Bluegrass Classic is in my hometown, not my hometown, but where I live now. And it is so convenient, and it was actually my first show, and it is such an easy show to acclimate to. So for any first-time handlers, it's a great show to go to because you can figure out the layout. It's not overwhelming, and it's really easy and pleasant. I do like some of the bigger shows. I'm really in love with Indianapolis and Louisville, and a 2-week show sounds amazing. But I have a full-time job, so I won't be going anytime soon.
I gotcha. Yeah, the Bluegrass Cluster is one of the shows that Purina sponsors every year.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's and actually it's one of my shows. I work that show, and I know that Kennel Club works very hard on that. And I'm also the president of the Grand Club of America, the Grand Basset Griffon Vendéen Club of America.
Mm-hmm.
That's my other breed, one of my other breeds, and we're doing a specialty there at that all breed show this year.
Oh, nice.
So we're looking forward to that. Because
is that new?
Is it new? Yes, we've never done it before. There.
Okay, I was going to say I haven't. I'm a member of the Kennel Club, but I haven't actually heard that. So that's good to know.
We've been working with Kathy. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Great.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. Yay.
Well, I'm a horse person too, so you need to go to that horse park. Makes my heart happy.
Yeah.
When I pull in that horse park.
It really is a lovely venue.
Yes.
I love the horse park. I'm also a horse person, so I'm there a lot, and I'm very familiar with it. But I think for people who don't know it, it's much easier to get around than, say, Louisville or any of the bigger shows where you have a lot more dogs. I also love Bluegrass because the poodles are in that smaller room, and that just makes things so easy.
Exactly what you're saying. Yeah, it's a great facility. And that show was outdoors for years and years. And that was before
I've
my
heard
time.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was before my time. Since I've done it, and I've been with Purina 14 years, it's always been an indoor show. But I heard it was quite a large outdoor show. But it's hot. It's the summer, no matter where you are. So people.
Lexington is pretty muggy, it's not Florida, but it's still hot and humid. So I'm glad that we have air conditioning for the dogs.
And it's a great city. I love Lexington. I love Kentucky.
Oh, yay. Good.
Yeah.
Me too. So tell me a little bit about your own show dogs.
So as I mentioned, I'm the president of the Grand Basset Griffon Vendéen Club of America, and my husband and I worked with the Grand Club board and Enthusiast. We worked for 15 years to get them recognized.
Wow.
We got recognized into the Hound Group in 2018, and we've been breeding Grands for almost 20 years now. And they're a really nice rough-coated French hound, but they're a hound, so they're not for everybody. I tell everybody that right up front. You have to be a hound person because they're hounds, and they're a wonderful breed. they're not a Petit Basset. They're a cousin to the Petit Basset, but they're not a variety. They're not a larger version of the Petit Basset. There's two distinct, very different, standards. It's like when people say, "Oh, but it looks like a Petite," I say, "But American Cocker looks like an English Springer Spaniel, but they're two different breeds." And then people go, "Oh, yeah, they kind of look alike, but not at all." So, but they're a nice breed. And then also we breed English Springer Spaniels.
Nice.
And that was my first breed. Started breeding those back in high school in the 70s. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So you have a really long history as a breeder.
I do. Yes.
That's exciting.
Yes.
I actually learned most of, or a large part of what I know about breeding from breeding horses.
What breed do you have?
Actually, I dated someone, so I soaked up his knowledge, and learned and just transferred things. And he has thoroughbreds.
Okay.
Yeah. There really are a lot of parallels, and there are certain protocols that I follow that he used that really apply to whatever animal you're breeding, I think.
Yes, I know exactly what you're saying, because
yeah,
we breed and show Tennessee walking horses, and yes, and we have a foal due in August.
Oh wow!
We have a stud colt and a filly that are about a year and 2 months old. So yeah, we're busy. Yeah. But you're right. It's very similar to breeding dogs. You have to think about, who you're breeding to what and what you're going to get.
Right. And then the actual breeding, it so far for me, it has been pretty straightforward, and I have felt very confident, even though I haven't bred that many litters. It has seemed pretty understandable and, achievable. So
yeah,
it's been really nice.
So, I'm also a poodle person.
Yes. Tell us about that.
Growing up, I'm from a big Catholic family, and I had Springers, and my sister had miniature poodles. I grew up with poodles, and my first job was working at Posh Puppy, which was a grooming salon in Kansas City. And the person that taught me how to groom, she bred poodles. And so I have a love of poodles always, we have bred one litter of standards. And right now we have 2 toys and a standard. And huge fan of the breed. We're not really breeders. Like I said, we've only bred one litter, and that was about 20 years ago. But poodle power. They're the best too.
They really are special dogs. I guess the coat is definitely a challenge and could mean they're not for everyone. If you want zero upkeep, a poodle wouldn't be for you. But in general, they are smart, athletic, good family dogs, all-arounders, which is really nice.
Oh, definitely. You know what I always tell people when they say I'm considering a poodle, and I say, well, now that's like adopting a child, because they're like living with another person.
They are. Yeah, they're very smart.
Like it's adding a person to your household,
Yes. And they do have opinions, mine all, they definitely have opinions. They're not strong opinions. I can sway them, but, they'll let me know. So how many dogs do you have in your family?
Well, it varies because, as a show person, you keep turn out, and you let it go to a pet home, and let it be a couch potato. So it varies. We try to keep it under 12. Okay. But it just depends. But we live on 70 acres and have plenty of room. Very blessed. Have a beautiful kennel, beautiful indoor-outdoor kennel, and our dogs are very happy because they have lots of room to run in and out and bark at the wetland behind us and the birds, and then come back in and watch television for 3 hours.
And do you mix the horses and the dogs quite a lot?
We don't. You
You
know,
don't.
it's just a safety thing. You know,
Yeah.
I've seen too many things happen where dogs have gotten kicked by horses, and to me, it's just not worth it. You
Yep.
know, I mean, I know a lot of people, like my trainer, the dogs are everywhere. It just makes me too nervous.
Yeah. Everyone
You
has
know,
a very specific opinion about that. My dogs are never off leash around horses just
yeah,
because things could happen.
yeah, and now it just yeah. So it's just to me it's just not worth it. I can do both individually and have a great
Right.
time. They don't need to be
Yeah.
together. Now, my first Springer and my years ago, I used to ride my horse, and my Springer would jump up and grab my mare's tail as we were going through the wheat fields in Kansas, and that was fun. But she, of course, I didn't know I was a stupid teenager having a blast.
I used
So,
to have
but
a
yeah, haven't done it
neighbor.
since the '70s.
Yeah, I used to have a neighbor who would trail ride, and her dog would jump up onto her mare and go for a trail ride and
Yeah,
balance on the mare's rear end, which was
right, sure.
wild.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
it was great.
Thank God for those horses that tolerated kids.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're worth their weight in gold.
They sure are. Um, so I am really excited that we've had a chance to talk. I think that it's really important for people to understand that Purina is such an important part of the dog world. They really support so many things, and they by themselves they're just a great dog food company. But understanding that they are supporting so many different kinds of classes and employing people who are in the show world, I think is something that people who are new to the breed probably or new to showing probably don't know.
Yes. So everyone that's on my team, have shown dogs all their life, which really comes in handy because you have we basically help people out, when they are trying to figure out points, when you know they got a puppy, they're trying to figure out what to feed it. I mean, it's we help a lot of new dog show exhibitors, because
Yeah,
we look important behind that table with the
you
tablecloth, so
do.
they come up
Yes.
and
We
talk
bet
to
you have
us,
answers.
which is what we
Yeah.
want.
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad that you had a chance to talk to me, and I'm really appreciative of your time. I wish you the best of luck showing your dogs.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you at my next dog show.
Fantastic. I will be there in August.
Excellent. Look forward to it.
Okay.
Thanks
Look
so
forward to
much,
meeting
Corey.
you. All right. Nice
Okay.
talking to you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
If you have any questions, visit Purina.com or visit Corey's website at sidekickdogs.com. So I thought I'd add a segment at the end of each podcast where I recommend something. This week, I would like to recommend my favorite slickers. They are the Ashley Craig wood handle slicker brush by Greyhound, and you can get them at greyhoundcomb.com. They're not that easy to find, but if you Google those words, you should find it. They don't have the best interface on their website, but they have 3 sizes, small, medium, and large. And for the price, I always recommend that you buy all 3. The large is 20, the medium is 18, and the small is 16. I use these slicker brushes all the time as my workhorses before I switch to my coral Chris Christensen or my black Chris Christensen. They really are the workhorse for me, so I'd recommend that you give them a shot. Again, that's greyhoundcomb.com, and it's the wood handle slicker brush by Greyhound. Hope that helps. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode of Poodle People. Please remember to like us on your favorite platform, or even better, leave a review. We really appreciate it, and it helps us get new listeners. And if you have any questions you want me or Elise to answer, send us an email at poodlepeoplepodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening to this episode of Poodle People. See you next week.